QT Discovery. Lavochkin la-5. The lavochkin la-5 is a model of fighter aircraft from the Soviet Union during World War II. It is a selective development that incorporates the advantages of the earlier la-3 fighter designed by Lavochkin's team. Essentially, the design of the la-5 is 70% similar to its predecessor, the la-3, with the biggest differences being the engine and armament. Along with Yakolev fighter aircraft, the la-5 was one of the backbones of the Soviet Air Force's fighter planes during World War II. When the prototype conducted its first test flight in March, it surprisingly demonstrated outstanding combat performance. Soviet test pilots reported that it outperformed the Yak-7, and high-intensity test flights began as early as April. Lavochkin la-9. The Lavochkin la-9, NATO reporting name, Fritz, is a post-World War II fighter aircraft from the Soviet Union. The la-9 represents further developments of the prototype Lavochkin la-126. The first prototype, named la-130, was completed in 1946. The la-130 only bore a superficial resemblance to the famous Lavochkin la-7. The la-9 featured an all-metal structure, a laminar flow wing design, and a pressurized cockpit. Wooden components were removed from the fuselage, allowing the aircraft to be equipped with larger weapons and fuel for cannons. The la-130 has combat capabilities equivalent to the la-7, but is inferior to the Yakovlev Yak-3 in level and vertical flight. The new fighter aircraft, officially designated as the la-9, began production in August 1946. A total of 1,559 units were manufactured until production ceased completely in 1948. Only one la-9 continues to fly today, located in Ardmore, New Zealand, which was restored by Pioneer Aero Restoration and AV Specs from 2001 to 2003. Several others are currently housed in museums in China and North Korea. Polikarpov i-15. The Polikarpov i-15 is a biplane fighter aircraft from the Soviet Union in the 1930s. Nicknamed Chayka because of its wing shape resembling a bird's wing, it was used extensively by the Soviet Air Force and, along with the monoplane Polikarpov i-16, was one of the standard fighter aircraft of the Spanish Republicans during the Spanish Civil War, where it was referred to as Chato, flat-nosed. More than 1,000 i-15 BIS fighter planes were still used by the Soviet Union during the German invasion, with the biplanes being employed in ground attack roles. Many aircraft were destroyed in the early hours of the invasion while they were lined up neatly on the runway. By November 1943, all remaining operational examples had been relegated to secondary duties. The i-15 was widely used in combat by the Republicans during the Spanish Civil War and proved to be one of the best biplane fighters of its time. The nationalists referred to the fighter as Curtiss, seemingly believing it to be the Curtiss F-11C Goshawk. The first batch of 25 Polikarpov aircraft arrived in Cartagena, Spain, on October 28, 1936, with 15 pilots, commanded by future ace pilot Pavel Rychikov. A few days later, another group of 10 pilots and 15 aircraft arrived in Bilbao. Polikarpov i-16. The Polikarpov i-16 is a single-engine, single-seat fighter aircraft from the Soviet Union with a revolutionary design. It is the world's first low-wing monoplane fighter with retractable landing gear, achieving operational status and thus opening a new trend in fighter aircraft design. The i-16 was introduced in the mid-1930s and became the backbone of the Soviet Air Force at the beginning of World War II. This small fighter aircraft, nicknamed Ishak or Ishachok, Donkey, or Little Donkey, by Soviet pilots, played a prominent role in the Second Sino-Japanese War, the Battle of Khalkhin Gol, the Winter War, and the Spanish Civil War, where it was referred to as Rata, Rat, by nationalists or Mosca, Fly, by Republicans. The Finns called the aircraft Siipirava, flying squirrel. The cockpit is covered by a wide canopy measuring 40 centimeters, 16 in, with a tube-type Aldi's sight that can slide back and forth on rubber-mounted rails. A 225L, 59.4 US gallon, fuel tank is installed directly in front of the cockpit. The main landing gear can be fully retracted using a hand crank. The armament includes a pair of Shikei 7.62 x 54 mm, 0.30 in, machine guns mounted on the wings, attached to the outside of the main landing gear, with 900 rounds of ammunition. The i-16 is a difficult fighter aircraft to control. Pilots have poor visibility, the wings tend to accumulate engine oil, and the moving parts are prone to collapse during difficult maneuvers, causing many pilots to fix them in the open position. The front of the fuselage, where the engine is located, is too close to the center of gravity, and the cockpit is positioned too far back. The polikarpov is not sufficiently stable in the vertical axis and cannot be flown hands-free. The specially modified i-16s were used in the Zveno parasite aircraft experiments, utilizing the Tupolev TB-3 as the mothership. These i-16s carried two 250 kg bombs for dive bombing. This was double the bomb load that a standard i-16 could take off with under its own power. After dropping the bombs, they could operate as regular i-16s and could reattach to the TB-3 for the return journey. MiG-25. The Mikoyan Gurevich MiG-25, NATO reporting name, Foxbat, is a third-generation supersonic interceptor, reconnaissance, and bomber aircraft designed by the Mikoyan Gurevich Design Bureau of the Soviet Union. The first prototype flew in 1964 and entered service in 1969. With a maximum speed of Mach 3.2 and an altitude capability exceeding 20 kilometers, with some special versions reaching altitudes of up to 37.5 kilometers, the MiG-25 set 29 world records for flight performance. Equipped with a powerful radar and full long-range air-to-air missiles, the MiG-25 caused panic among many Western analysts and military experts when it first appeared. Scientists have discovered that the MiG-25 has a simple yet effective design with a vacuum tube electronic system, two large jet engines, and makes economical use of new materials such as titanium. MiG-21. The Mikoyan Gurevich MiG-21, NATO reporting name, Fishbed, is a jet fighter designed by the Mikoyan Design Bureau in the Soviet Union. In Russia, the Mikoyan Gurevich MiG-21 is referred to as the balalaika, because its fuselage design resembles the traditional Russian stringed instrument. This aircraft was designed by Mikoyan Gurevich, and the first chief designer of this project was Mr. Mikoyan. The engine of the aircraft was designed by Mr. Gurevich. This aircraft was designed by Mikoyan Gurevich, and the first chief designer of this project was Mr. Mikoyan. The engine of the aircraft was designed by Mr. Gurevich. The MiG-21 has the capability to reach speeds of Mach 2. This speed surpasses the maximum speed of many modern fighter aircraft that followed. Approximately 11,496 MiG-21s have been produced, not including about 2,400 Chengdu J-7s manufactured by China based on the MiG-21. Thank you for watching. Remember, like, subscribe, and share.